What's good? It's your boy Spark and Console back with another video. I'm on my phone right now because I just got, I was getting ready for work. You know, you guys know I'm military. I wake up early every single day. It's currently 6 a.m. right now. I've been up since 4 a.m. Doing military stuff, whatever. Yeah, man. I'm on my phone right now. And I was texting Duplex because I reacted to what he said yesterday. He said, swear y'all only heard one side and run with it. So basically he's saying anything I say on this channel, you guys are going to take it and be like, oh my God, Spark, you're so amazing. So if he says Donald Trump is actually black, he's actually black. He's essentially saying if anything I say goes. No, that's inaccurate. Like, he's just coping at this point. The reason why you guys listen to me, because I'm usually right 90% of the time, and I'm informative. And, you know what I'm saying, I have no reason to lie or anything like you guys know me as a person, you know what I'm saying? We have that dynamic. That's why, you know what I'm saying, your boys at work fucking doing this on a phone type shit. But yeah, before I start this video, I'm gonna talk about part 1 in terms of how it was titled. I said Duplex scammed me pretty much. The definition of a scam is when you exploit somebody else using trust to have them do something, right? Yeah. So that's what happened, right? Because he told me for a while that I was going to be leader of the club 4 months, multiple occasions. He's like, it's most likely going to U-Spark. It's most likely going to U-Spark. He said it will go to U-Spark majority of the time. So he was bouncing around with it like over and over, but it was still along the lines of the club going to U-Spark. That's what he was pretty much saying the whole time. And if I said, hey guys, let's like and subscribe, you get this 20 mil flux giveaway, you like and sub, and then you don't get the 20 mil flux, that would be considered a scam. So that's what he did, right? You guys could be like, you should change the title. Fair. I could just say he was a liar. That's fair. That's fine too. But I'm just saying this in the beginning for you guys to understand. I don't care that I'm not president. The issue I had with him was that he lied to my face. Okay? Because I would have been made a club. We're going to talk about the chat that we had here. So I said I wasn't going to make a part 2, but now I have to. He said, I really enjoyed the first one. We'll be down to see a second one. And I was like, it was the fact that, you know what I'm saying, he was capping. That's pretty much what that paragraph is. And then he said, Spark, you said yourself in the video in the club. It started with me, Z, Shazzo, and Haim. How can you possibly be upset at the fact I decided I was going to give the club to another person who founded it with me? I'm human and I can only change my mind. I'm human and I can change my mind. Again, I'm not mad that I'm not president. I'm mad that he wasn't truthful in terms of telling me what his intentions were. Because in the beginning of me joining that club months ago when I made my new account, Spark on Alt, he said he wanted me to join the club, and in exchange for me joining the club, he was going to make my club hub. That's why in Blueport, it's not there anymore. But before, Blueport was my stuff. Like, it was my cannon, my trivia room, and my hub. It said Spark on Console on it. Didn't say Transit at all. So that was just me. That was his way of saying, welcome to the club. Here you go. Yeah. And when I joined, I didn't do anything, right? So he knew from the get-go that I wouldn't do anything in terms of getting the club power rank up, right? He knew that. I told him that day one. And that's why he built the hub, because I don't even build either. I told all this to him, right? And his reasoning was because I'm active, I'm going to be on the game. It makes more sense to give me the club. And I said, okay, cool. Just let me know if you change your mind beforehand, right? That was months ago. The reason why I'm salty is because he kept saying that he was going to give me the club. So I was advertising the club on my channel as if it was right about to be mine. Instead of doing that, I could have been made 11-11 club within the 5 months of me using Transit, right? So that's what I got scammed out of, right? I trusted him that he would give me the club, and he went back on his word in terms of that. Because if he would have just straight up told me from the beginning, hey, Spark, man to man, I don't want you to be president for X or Y reason, right? I would have been cool with that. I would be like, all right, just let me VP or officer. If you leave, I'll take over, take care of it, or, you know, whatever you want me to do with the club. I even told him multiple times, I was like, hey, if you want me to hold on to it when you go to the army, because he's about to go to the army, if you want me to hold on to it when you go to the army, I'll hold on to it and give it back to you, right? Yeah. I was completely on board with whatever he decided, It's just that he led me on for months on end and decided to change his mind at the last second. And it wasn't like, you know, that was non-intentional. That was on purpose. That's why I said he scammed and lied to me in terms of that. But we're getting into that and why that was a blatant lie. So he said, I pretty much say he scammed me. He said, if that's the case, I paid people to build your hub in the club. I feel I was wrong in having to bomb it. He paid 500 dep cores. For one, I've done way more giveaways in his club that are worth way more than 500 dep cores. So him talking about that is retarded. I even offered to give him the 500 dep cores. But for two, again, he made the hub in exchange for me joining. I said I wasn't going to join. I kind of want my own club, right? But he was like, hey, Spark, you could just, touch base here for now. And then once I leave, you could have it. That's what he said. That's why I joined and why he built the hub. Because I don't build. That's literally why he made it. So, he didn't make a Spark on console hub for Tranzit. That has nothing to do with Tranzit. Motherfuckers, if they join the Tranzit club and it's called Tranzit, they don't give a fuck about my hub. That was a me thing. That was a here you go present. That had nothing to do with him being wrong. He didn't give a fuck about a Spark on console hub. Granted, he's a subscriber. He's in the Discord, as you can see. He's subbed to my channel. But, nigga, no one in the club gives a fuck about my hub. Why are we pretending about that shit? That's why I was laughing at him. But he's like, nah, man, you can keep it. Dude, you're just leaving info out of the vid. I was like, what did I leave out? He said, it's cool. Just hit me up when it's posted. And he was saying that I left details out for whatever reason. And I didn't leave any details out. But I'm glad he said that because we pretty much talked in this group chat, right, for everyone to see. So there's no, oh, you're leaving details out. But yeah, I said, what did I leave out? And he said, it's cool. So he had nothing to say after that because for a fact I didn't leave anything out. But even if I did leave anything out, he's typing in the Discord chat for everyone to see. So yeah, this paragraph is me telling him that he led me on. He told me I was going to be president of the club multiple times. And then as soon as Shazzle said, yeah, I want the club, he immediately went to Shazzle, right? Imagine telling somebody, hey, you're going to be the president, or imagine you're telling someone, hey, man, you could live in this house and you live in that house for 5 months. And then you're like, oh, my homie's here now. Get out. Dude, you can't, leave me on like that. As friends, I'd rather you be man to man to me, not be sneaky with it. Just tell me outright in advance, right? Again, I don't give a fuck about me being president. I don't give a shit about that. It's just a simple fact that I could have been made my own club, right? So, if you want to take anything away from this video, I'm not salty about Prez, at all. I don't care. He said, that time I had to ask everyone. When he meant everyone, he meant the VPs. The main VPs are Haim, Grippy, and Shazzle, and me. Obviously, I voted for myself, and then Haim voted for me. And then Grippy voted for Shazzle, and Shazzle voted for himself. So it was still a 2-on-2, and it was for Duplex to decide. Everybody else that were VP had nothing to do with the leadership of Tranzit. Zachbot was only VP because of fast clears. Poison was VP because of fast clears. Grandma Carrie is Grandma Carrie. So if any of us dies, Grandma Carrie would, people would want to join simply because it's her. And yeah, so him making that decision had nothing to do with him consulting the other VPs because it was still a tie. It didn't make any sense. Out of his 4 main VPs, it was a tie. So he still had to be the ultimatum, right? We're scrolling down. He was saying whatever the fuck. You guys could join the Discord and see what he was saying. Here he's talking about how he's close to Z, yada whoop the whoop. That's all fine and dandy. I don't care that he's close to Z or not. I don't care if he wanted to give the club to a power rank 10. It was just simple fact he didn't inform me about such things, and let me on with that instead of just outright saying, right, he was double dipping. Yeah, I don't care that whatever decision he made. I'm salty because he didn't say it immediately, and he wasn't truthful about it either, right? You can't say, hey, you're gonna give someone a club, here you go, I'm being a good friend to you. when you're not really being a good friend. You're just, you know, keeping me there for power rank. And then once you don't need me anymore, you're not going to care. So, like, originally, that's what it was. He wanted me there for PR. He didn't really care, you know, me having a club or me taking care of the club. He was more than likely going to give it to Shazzle anyway because they're just closer friends. And I would have been fine with that had he just say that from the jump. But we're moving on. I went over that. He said, you also literally said to me in the first time in the party that you wouldn't have done anything for the club. And that's a lie, because the very last stream I did was literally a Tranzit giveaway. It's literally Tranzit in the title. I'd done 5-star clears for the club. The only time I've ever shout out or said join this club was in global or anywhere, and you guys could, you know, look at history and stuff like that. The only time I've ever told a group of people to join a club was Tranzit. I've never said, hey guys, Anointed Ones is on top, join Anointed Ones. I never said Arson's on top, join Arson, right? So him saying I did nothing for the club, that's a blatant lie. Shazzle did less than me because all he did was 5-star clears. Unless I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong about that, but I did 5-star clears and giveaways. And I'm more consistent on the game than he was in terms of, like, being in the club. Again, I'm not salty. I'm not president. It's just, you know, his reasoning doesn't make sense here. The evidence points back to the fact he didn't really have a reason for giving me the club to begin with. He wanted Shazzle to do it. It was just, he was just capping the whole time, which was weird. Like, he should have just stayed 100% and said, hey, man, I don't want you to be leader. And I would have been cool with that. But the main reason I post this video is because I went around saying that I was going to be the leader. So he made me look fucking retarded. So he let me on, fucked up my plans, let me on. I told multiple people that I was going to be president. They laughed at me, whatever the fuck, right? I have a screenshot right here of me talking to Anointed Ones, saying I'm going to be leader of the club. Jewbug's like, no, you're not. And then fucking Yah with the whoop. Turns out I'm not going to be. He changed his fucking mind. So now I look dumb to, like, multiple people just because he couldn't just keep me in the fucking loop. You know? That's fucked. That's weird. You know what I'm saying? So, let's go back to the chat. Where were we? Where were we? We're right about here. Yeah, so him saying I wasn't doing anything for the club is just cap, bro. Like, there's evidence there in my channel. But in the beginning I did say that. I said I'm not gonna do anything for the club. I'm getting my power rank. I'm in the military. I will do in the beginning when I first was VP. He made me VP immediately and gave me a hub. So he wanted me to join for the sole purpose of taking over. That's why a hub was created, because I was supposed to be the next president. So he said, okay, man, advertise your streams here. All good. You can do whatever the fuck. And then once I leave, you can have it. That's what he's been saying to me for months. And then he goes and says, people don't start doing things for the club when they get promoted, regardless if it was pres, VP, or officers. They do stuff for the club and then get promoted. So that was a complete opposite of what we did. So again, he's contradicting himself. That doesn't make any sense, because again, in the beginning, I was never member, captain, enforcer, officer. I have always been a VP in that club since day one. I didn't get put to officer until right before I left, because I told him to do that. And I told him to bomb my hub. So he demoted me to officer, but then I was like, I don't really want to stay in this club anymore. There's no reason for me to stay in it. So I just left. Straight like that. I'm not mad at him as a person. I don't want him to kill himself. It's just a simple fact he wasn't being real. And I don't want to be associated with niggas that aren't real. I like real ass niggas. I don't like cappers, bro. Like, say it to my face, even if you're scared. Just straight up say, hey, Spark, I don't want you to be president. That's all that was, right, to me. I don't care about being president. No one's salty about being pres. It's just a simple fact. If you would have told me, like, long ago, hey, these are my intentions, blah, with the whoop. Now, if you would have said, hey, you know what I'm saying, I'm thinking about Shazzle more, then I would have adjusted what I had to do. Where the fuck? But he always saying this at the last minute. You know, that's like, bro, like, you're fucking on my plans. So I was telling people the purpose of this video isn't to shit on Duplex slash MrAqua. The purpose of this video is for people to understand why I left, why I said I was going to be over the club, because I wasn't lying. He was lying. He said that, right? So it was to, one, clear my name in terms of saying that I was going to be owner of the club, and two, tell why I left Tranzit, even though I was the main one active in that club and never left that club to begin with. That was the reasoning behind part one and part two. Part two is here because he was claiming, there's still more drama. He was claiming that I left stuff out, which I didn't, but that's why we're here in terms of that. And he says, fine, man, post a vid, whatever the fuck. Now, make this make sense. I said I would easily be top 5. I never cared for number 1. My audience isn't 59Ks. And he was like, now make this make sense. Top 5, you still need 59 and 58Ks. Obviously, I'm going to have 59Ks in my club. Obviously. There are people that are willing to join my club, my circle, whatever the fuck, right? You don't need to have 20 59Ks to be top 5. You only need, I'm pretty sure, maybe 8, but you just need decent power rank. Like, the gap between top 1 and top 5, that's a pretty big gap. So, like, the club just needs to be a little active. It doesn't have to, I mean, it just has to have a little bit more in-game players. It doesn't have to have straight 59Ks like Tranzit has. That's what I was telling him. And I said, question for you, was the 1% active? And then he said, yes, the 1% was active. You know what I'm saying? And I said, exactly, it was active. Was. And it maintained number 1 because why? And then he dodged and then he was, well, he didn't dodge it, but he pretty much said something about Qatar, and then he said, I have to go to bed. The 1% was active for, you know, the recruitment of the club, and then once it was number 1, people couldn't touch with the 1%. The 1% isn't number 1 now because someone sold it. I don't really know the details, but someone sold the club, and it, you know, you know, left, you know what I'm saying? It got fucking sent to the gulag. So, that's what happened to the 1%. But what my point was saying, just because you have a top club doesn't mean it's active. People don't join a club because it's number 1 power rank. People join the club from the incentive and the benefits and the activeness of the club and the club chat. So if you have multiple stuff, you have cool builds, if they're doing clears, yeah, the issue with the logic for what he was saying, pretty much everything he was saying here was contradictory. I already broke that down. In terms of Shazzle should have been the better pick when he wouldn't, unless Shazzle stays on the, and believe it or not, I want Shazzle to stay on the game, but more than likely he's not. But unless Shazzle stays on the game, that club is going to die as soon as Duplex leaves, quite frankly. As soon as he stops recruiting, it's going to end up just like the 1%, because Shazzle's going to take its 4-month-long break, and then no one's going to give a fuck in that club, and then Transit will become a club that, yes, is number 1 in power rank, but isn't active and dead, just like the 1% was. Because when you put a bunch of players in a club chat and you're like, hey, fucking, let's do this, blah, 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 and then you're not typing in the chat no more, that's what happens to the club. That's why I compared the 1% to it. I said it's superior based off, you know, the members. But at the last bit here, what I said to him, I was like, none of that matters regardless. If Duplex simply asked me, hey, Spark, start recruiting for Tranzit would have never dropped below, like, fucking top 10. It wouldn't even drop below top 5. If he told me to recruit as a friend, he's like, hey, man, I want the club more active. Go start recruiting. Then the club would have still been a good club even before he came back. I'm not going to take the credit for it not being number 1, but it still would have been a top 5 club simply because I was advertising in it if he asked me to do so. The reason why I didn't try to advertise and chat or recruit people is because he said I didn't need to. So when we scroll up here and he's saying, oh, fucking, where did he say? What did he say? Where is it? He said people don't start doing things for the club when they get promoted regardless. If it was Prez, VP, or officer, they do stuff for the club and then get promoted. Like I said, we already established that he didn't care about me doing anything in the club. Just me alone being the person I am as a friend and as a YouTuber, he was going to give me the club. That had nothing to do with the effort of the club whatsoever. He didn't lay that down. He didn't say, hey, fucking, I want you to advertise the club. If you advertise the club, recruit members into the club, you know what I'm saying? That will give you higher chances of becoming the next fucking Prez. That's not what happened. He said, hey, Spark, use this club for your channel. Fucking when you get to 59K, when you pass me, I'll eventually give you the club. That was the plan. Okay, so him saying this, like, oh, you did nothing for the club, you don't deserve it, wasn't what he was saying weeks ago. And that's a pretty fairly take, right? Like, him saying is valid, right? It's not wrong, right? I don't deserve the club, but I don't give a fuck if I deserved it or not. That's what he said, right? That's what he said. That's what he was trying to do, right? Because if he would have told me that, then I wouldn't have fucking, like, stayed VP. I wouldn't have asked for a hub. He wouldn't have built my hub. I would have made my own club by now. 5 months of, like, constant streams in his server. So I want to make sure people understand this video in all contexts on everything I'm saying here. Like I said, Discord link in the description. You can read the whole conversation. But again, like, what he's saying here is, like, you're basically, his thought process was, Spark, you're not a founder, and Spark, you're salty that you're not president, and Spark, you didn't do anything for the club. When in reality, what happened was, hey, Spark, I'm gonna give you the club. Last minute, he changed his mind. Fucking, hey, Spark, you didn't need to do anything for the club. You know what I'm saying? You doing stuff in the club has nothing to do with you being VP, because again, he promoted me to VP immediately. Right? I wasn't even doing foster clears. I wasn't even strong enough at the time. Right? So he promoted me to VP immediately. Right? So, like, it was no, like, do stuff for the club and then you get promoted. I got promoted from the jump and got a hub. Right? When you have a hub in a club, right? Your hub is a hub. That's where players stay. So the intention was to give me the club. That's why my hub was there. Okay? So I'm just clearing the air about everything that transpired to make sure you guys know everything here. Yeah, man. It's your boy Sparkle Console. This was a pretty long phone video. Hope you guys like it. And yeah, peace out.